But Singapore, always looking outward to be in front of the changes in a globalized world, could read the writing on the wall. With increasing competition from other Asian countries also providing low skilled labor, Singapore knew that to remain competitive, their economy needed to shift from a labor intensive to a skilled labor intensive. No longer would a one size fits all approach to education do. Their educational system was to shift from a quantity to quality. This ushered in the efficiency-driven phase from 1979 to 1996. Technological skills were emphasized to build a workforce that would attract multinational corporations. Schools offered multiple pathways for student success, which significantly reduced the dropout rate. There were now academic high schools for college-bound students, polytechnic high schools that focused on advanced technological and vocational skills, and technological institutes of education for lower ability students that also focus on technology and vocational skills. It was during this phase that rote learning was king. It produced results too. By 1995, Singapore was #1 on the TIMSS, or Trends in International Mathematics and Science Study assessments. Not seeking to rest on its laurels and always on the lookout for innovation, once again, Singapore had to respond to shifts in the global economy. The Asian financial crisis of 1997 made it clear that the economic advantage belonged to those who could create and market new ideas to those who were proactive. The education in Singapore would now produce these 21st century thinkers and workers by focusing its energy and direction towards its third and current phase. 1997 to the present day, Thinking Schools, Learning Nation. Teach less, learn more. Thinking Schools, Learning Nation is a holistic approach to making education relevant to students. Teachers and students are encouraged to create, innovate, and research. For example, Radin Mas Primary School is a Microsoft innovative school that focuses on design thinking and 3D printing to assist students in learning 21st century competencies like collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creative thinking, and entrepreneurship. Chow Young School, a special education school for students with intellectual disabilities, highlights Singapore's emphasis on developing a proactive and globally minded workforce. Students from this primary school travel yearly to India to participate in field trips or learning journeys that focus on the arts. In fact, it is very typical for students starting in the 4th grade and up to travel abroad for learning journeys or competitions to countries like Vietnam, China, Australia, and even the United States with funding provided by the Singaporean government. Through the Fulbright program, I have taken my own learning journeys and have visited over 20 schools. The arts are alive here in Singapore. Primary schools with green screens and video production rooms, schools with kilns for pottery making. In fact, every school visited had several dedicated art studio rooms. Holistic education in Singapore means having a strong arts program in mainstream and special education schools. Under Thinking Schools, Learning Nation, Singapore's vocational education has become world class. At their ITEs, students who were identified as low academic performers leave school certified in a skill and are job ready. Just as the United States has its Common Core, Singapore has its Curriculum 2015 to prepare their students for 21st century success. Now, the educational emphasis is on experiential and hands-on learning, especially for special needs and at-risk learners. Repetitive testing and rote learning no longer reign. There's design and media class for those who are interested in the arts, culinary training for those entering the hospitality industry, electrical training for future engineers, and school-run restaurants to teach in an authentic setting. Schools have a serious focus on character development, and schools are encouraged to develop niche areas in sports, robotics, the arts, or any other field of learning that resonates within the school community. Under Teach Less, Learn More, teachers have the freedom to create curriculum that is school specific. Time is given for students to work collaboratively and interdisciplinary on subjects that matter to them. Also under Teach Less, Learn More, schools are now held accountable to the goals that they themselves set, believing that one mold would not fit all schools. The goal is every school a good school. In conclusion, the United States and Singapore are very competitive countries. Both need their students to develop 21st century skills to compete in a globalized economy. In the U.S., we have Race to the Top as our educational initiative. It implies that there is one peak or destination in the pursuit of educational excellence. Unfortunately, many students and teachers get labeled failures along the way. Singapore's educational paradigm differs in striking contrast. Their educational belief reflects the diversity of student interests and abilities. Their motto, in the words of former Minister of Education T. Shanmugatnam, we need a mountain range of excellence, not just one peak, to inspire all our youth to find their passions and climb as far as they can.